Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and today we are outside for the video. It is a beautiful fall day. Although it is pretty warm today, it is not going to be that way tomorrow. When I last checked the forecast, we are gonna hit below freezing tomorrow night. So that means these plants need to be taken care of today. I'm going to take you along the process of cleaning these plants up for the winter. I do leave a lot of these plants outside all year round. I do think I'm going to be bringing a couple in because I don't think they're going to survive. And I actually planted some in the ground last year and I planted some this year. And this is my third winter here now. And so some of the ones that I planted last year did survive the winter this year and they grew back in the spring, which is kind of exciting that could potentially plant more plants out here and the foliage may die back, but as long as the root system is okay and kept warm all winter, they'll survive. But yeah, like I said, I'm here on my front porch. This is where I keep my cacti succulents. It's all south facing, so it gets pretty intense sun during the summer months out here. And I will link my cacti succulent video that I did in the spring where I repotted a lot of these plants with you and they've grown so much. My husband actually moved the cacti table to the other side for the outlets over here, so he needed it for decorations. And so because the table's on this side, some of them got sunburnt because they got more direct sun. It just goes to show you, like, even plants in the shade, even if they're not getting any direct sun, as soon as you move them into direct sun, and they've been out here all summer, some of them have gotten burnt within the last month, but that's okay. Some of these may get frost damage over winter, but I am going to do my best to kind of protect them and cover them, and we'll see kind of how they tolerate being out here. A lot of my cacti and stuff did fine. My snake plant, I feel like, was the only one, this guy back here in the corner. It has grown so much since the spring. It is crazy, especially the Metallica, this one here, like the silvery one. I feel like the other one didn't really grow a whole lot, but this one here has really exploded. But you can see still some of the old frost damage from last winter on some of these vines, but it'll be fine because I left him out here, you know, all winter last year. And we did get that unusual snowstorm last winter as well, like earlier this year. We got like 3 or 5 inches of snow here that lasted a few days, which was very unusual. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We'll get started here on my front porch. Thank you so much for coming along with me, and I hope you enjoy today's video. And we are working with a lot of sun today. So I have whale fins back in that corner. I have a ZZ plant, which I did not leave out here last winter, but I'm gonna try and leave that one out here this winter and see how it does. And this is the shelf with all the cacti and succulents. Now I did buy a few of these recently, like in the last few months. Some of these, like I have a little sansevieria here. I have some other cacti. I do want to go ahead and repot those and get them planted into like a terracotta. And this one here unfortunately did get burnt quite a bit. This is a, oh gosh, what is this one? Oh, an orchid cactus. It sun stresses very, very beautifully, but I do want to go ahead and get this repotted, and I think I will be taking this inside because this one I believe is only cold hardy to 40 degrees, and it's definitely going to get freezing tomorrow night, so this one may not survive. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of this one with you too. I have a monkey tail cactus there. It got a little bit burnt, but it's done very well out here. And that guy did survive the winter last year, so I'm going to be leaving him out. And there on the bottom, I have a lot of cacti and stuff too that I redid earlier this year. With it being this time of year and the sun setting lower in the sky, you can see how much of my porch is in the sun right now. It's pretty intense. Those guys in the left corner are getting some shade, but the sun is actually reaching those snake plants there. So I feel like things are drying out a bit more quickly. I can actually see some wilty, wilty cacti. So I'm gonna give everyone like a good drink and everything, and we'll get this porch cleaned off. Because the sun is pretty intense right now, I was going to repot some of these plants out on the patio, but I can't really film in the full sun. So I'm kind of working here in the garage. I have a table right down here, and I have some potting supplies. I have a few terracotta that I found that I'll plant the like succulents in. And then for fertilizer, I like to use Coat for my outdoor plants because I can just add this in and just water with my hose, and I don't have to worry about anything else. I'm not as strict with my like indoor outdoor plants that I leave outside. And I have a bin here that I'm going to toss and make a mix up. I technically don't really have any cacti succulent mix. Normally I buy a bag of just like regular cacti mix, either from Black Gold, or I've even used the Miracle-Gro cacti succulent mix. But since I don't have any of that today, all I'm going to do is make my own DIY. I have some extra cocoa coir, and I ran out of pumice, but I do have a little bit of perlite, so I'm going to toss that in. And then I also have some cocoa husk chips, some charcoal, and some orchid bark. So I'm going to quickly make that up, and we'll have like a little mix to repot some plants. I thought I had another terracotta, but I don't. So I'm gonna use the ceramic pot for one or two of these guys. I have this planter here. It's a shallow planter. This is really old, a few years old, so you can't like actually get this anymore. But I figured this shallow one would actually be really good for the orchid cactus, and that way I could hang it inside. Whoops. And so the plants that I need to repot as well are these, like I said, these two Haworthia. So I need to put these in. I actually might put these, I feel like this is the biggest out of the ones I have. I feel like I could squish those in here, and I think that would look really pretty. And then I'm thinking I'll probably do that cacti, this one here, in that terracotta. And then I have this terracotta that I have that snake plant. I think that's how I'll do it. It is such a nice day. I don't have a chair out here, so I'm just gonna stand and pot these real quick, and hopefully you can see okay. I'm gonna shower these off at the very end, you know, because I'm gonna take the hose and go around. This one has a drainage, this ceramic. I don't like to pot cacti succulents in ceramic, but I guess I'm out of terracotta, so it'll have to do. It does have a drainage hole. I'll just set this on like a clear saucer, which I should have plenty of those. But it might leak for the time being. So I'm gonna fill this about halfway with our mix, and we're basically just gonna do a plop and fill. Oh, cool, look at the babies. Oh, that is so cool. Look at those babies. Right, look at that. There's like two more coming up. And this one actually has a bloom spike. This is the darker one that I got at Home Depot recently. It's such a cool guy. I don't know if that's focusing. Oh, that's so cool. I love the roots. Yeah, I'm not really going, this is kind of compacted, but what I might do is just break off some of that old just onto the table here. And we'll plant kind of one on that side. They honestly could use their separate pots. I wonder if I should get another pot for this other one. Yeah, I might do that because I feel like adding two in here is actually going to be squishing them. Oh, I love him. He's so cute. I think that's the perfect pot for him too. All right, we'll sit him down. Okay, I do have a plastic pot that I'll put inside of this pot. That'll be fine for the other one. Actually, I could have used this pot, the plastic pot that came with the other one. Same thing, I'm just gonna break up some of this compacted soil. And he is all good for the winter. All right, next let's do this snake plant here. Next we have this cacti. And the last guy that's out here that we're repotting is the crispy orchid cactus that got way too much sun, but that's okay. Since this is the one that I'm bringing inside, what I'm going to do is kind of isolate it for a bit. I'll hose it off with the hose, and then once it's inside, I'm going to spray it with some pest spray, and I'll leave it set up in a spot kind of away from my other plants just to be sure. Because I do not want to bring anything, anything inside. Anything that's super crispy, I think I'm going to cut away here. I'm going to cut this one here. Let's see. Okay, well, let's get her out. It's like all cocoa core right there. I wanted to get rid of most of that dirt since this one is going inside. Okay, I'm going to plant a little bit down in here. Get that centered there. Okay. Once it kind of fills in a bit more, it'll look a little bit better. But yeah, it did get a little crispy out there. I'm probably gonna hang this in the kitchen area, but again, I'm gonna isolate it for a bit in the meantime. I have some extra grow lights. I can make like a little quarantine area. So that is that one. That was not very easy. That snake plant was so heavy. I just like cleared the front porch off. I'm gonna move the shelf off and just give everything a good hose down. The ZZ plant, I'm actually going to upsize real quick. You see that 8-inch planter? It's in a 6-inch, but it's a little small. So I'm going to upsize it gently and trim off some of the like floppy leaves on that snake plant. I don't think anything else needs a top off. I did put like decorative rocks on top of a lot of those planters, so I don't need to do anything with it. Like I'm almost 5'11". I'm like 5'10 and a half. Like the snake plant is almost as tall as me. That's craziness. How like big it is. Do you see like compared to me, how much it's grown? Crazy. I'm making one heck of a mess out here. I think what I'm gonna do is before I assemble the front porch back, I'm gonna let these air dry and kind of dry off before I put them back on the porch. I think what I'll do is kind of bring some of my mess out into the patio area and we'll work on cleaning up those plants and stuff, and then I'll hose the porch area off. But yeah, I probably won't water these plants again. This will probably be the last full water I do. I may water them at the end of the year, we'll see, but usually my outdoor plants I don't water that often. Just over summer, it's maybe like a couple times a month that I'm watering these plants. Because I just gave them like a good water stay, it should last them for a while. It at least help insulate the roots for when it gets cold tomorrow night and stuff. So, but I'll keep an eye on how they do out here all winter. I mean, I feel like they should be fine as long as I cover them like on a really cold night. We have several frost blankets I'm gonna get down, and yeah, tomorrow night I'll come out here and just flip some over all of them. I'll probably just like group them kind of together so that they're easier to cover. I'm in our backyard. I don't know if you can see that herring or egret down there in the water. I got a little closer. We actually haven't seen many alligators either in this water like this summer. Always have to keep a lookout. We do have beavers, plenty of fish in here. You can see some damage on those trees from beavers. I don't think there's been a beaver here in a while, but lately we've had raccoons show up, so that's been fun. They were getting into our trash, so we haven't seen them in a couple of days, so I hope they moved on. I pretty much took care of the plants outside already. I spent a day, was it a few weeks ago, and chopped back a lot of dead leaves and everything. Last year I had covered a lot of these. I'm not going to worry about that this year. Like this alocasia, I actually planted like 3 alocasia here, and my elephant ears are going dormant. They're kind of losing a lot of leaves. So whatever's going to stay out here is just going to weather the weather. These begonias did okay all summer. They actually dried out quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is just chop them back to the soil, and if they grow back next year, then that'll be good. But if not, then I may buy some new ones to plant in there in the springtime. And yeah, down this way we have the banana tree that is yellowing. It is going dormant, and I have another alocasia and elephant ears on this side of the house. So yeah, they will completely die back this winter as well. I was really worried I was going to lose the banana tree, but it grew back. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about trying to cover that or anything either. So yeah, I'm going to spend the next little bit here in the patio, the next couple hours. Hopefully I can get done before, I don't even know what time it is. I think it's probably heading towards 3 o'clock. So I have like a good 2 hours of daylight that I need to get this done. After looking at the plants, I honestly don't think I'm going to be bringing any of these in, minus the new planter that I got at Lowe's on my last shopping trip. That one's still out here. I just haven't taken care of it yet. So I'm actually going to take that in and take care of it probably later this evening inside. I just have to quarantine it. I have kind of a very droopy big alocasia. I might cut some leaves away, and then what I'm going to do is back those plants. I might actually put them right here where this cat tower is and move that and get them away from the elements with the screen, because so much rain and stuff comes in. I have 2 ficus that are out here, and I have a caladium and that calathea I'm going to chop all the way back. And then this ticon did unfortunately rot away. I have another tiny monstera. I have an oxalis that I'm going to leave out here as well. It'll go dormant. And then I have the 3 Hoya that I'm going to probably just chop up. I was hoping to leave the ficus out here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I do need to repot them and get this area cleaned up. I keep sneezing, the dust. So yeah, I have all the plants out here. I'm just gonna start chopping dead leaves away. If anyone needs a repot, I'll repot them. This oxalis, I'm not going to really do anything with because it's going to die back completely. Like these little stringy bits, I can kind of pluck. Since it's still pretty full, it is pretty to look at still for a little while longer, so I think I'll just leave it. Kind of pull some dead vines out. I'll repot this in the spring and take all the tubers out and make a nice pretty basket again. Since I'm out of Osmocote, I'm just gonna use a handful of this soil that has the Osmocote in it and just kind of freshen the top a little bit. And then I just rinsed the container it was in. Was it in this one? I think it was. I'm just gonna sit it back in here. Actually, I need to water it through. Actually, I'm gonna wait till the end to water because that hose has a leak in it. All right, so this Monstera got frost damage last winter. This is how much it's grown all summer. I think it just got too wet and it's like so moist in here. I don't remember the last time I watered it, which makes me think it probably has root rot. Let's see, I'm gonna take this out. That's rotted there, this part. Actually, part of that vine is okay. The rest of this is kind of rotted, like that stump rotted. I'm just gonna take one of these bins that has nothing in it, and we're gonna dump old rotted roots and soil into here. And so this little cutting here, we're gonna go ahead and just pop back into here. Let's see, I'm gonna cut some of this. Don't know if this will survive the winter, but I guess we'll see. It has 3 small leaves. This caladium is going dormant here. This one's really pretty. I forget the name of it. It has the white foliage. It's really pretty. Candorium senior. Is that what that says? This one's still in the original pot that I got it in. I think I got this at my local Ace Hardware for like $5 in the spring. I'm just gonna peel some of this top layer off here. Let's see, and anything that's kind of dying back, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that, that, that. I'll just throw a little bit of fresh on top to kind of insulate it. All right, that one's done. This calathea that I bought at the big box store, it did not do well. I think I rotted it. And I saw mealy down in there and I'm like, yeah, there's mealy eggs. There's baby mealies all in here. That's why I banished it out here, because I'm like, it came from the big box store, you know? And I'm like, I'm not taking a chance of mealies getting back in my collection again. Like, it's covered in mealies. Look at that. Do you see them? So there's adult mealies, there's an egg sac, and all these little white dots, I don't know if it's gonna make out, those are tiny baby mealies, and you can see the baby mealies on the leaves. That's so nasty. Ew, it's covered in mealies. So yeah, this is staying out here all winter. If it dies, it dies. It makes me second guess buying plants at the big box store because you just never know. It was so pretty too. What I'm gonna do is cut it back. I'm gonna take some of this top bit of soil. Let's see. I mean, it may come back in the spring, who knows? So what I might do is leave this next to the canna lily that's over there. And if it comes back, it comes back. All right, we have 3 plants left. We have my 2 ficus and then this alocasia that needs a good restake and hose down. 1 leaf I'm cutting off. It didn't really grow this summer at all. It's just not a good environment out here. You would think the plants would do well on this side, but there's just such low light inside the patio because this is all north facing. It's pretty much all in the shade, and it's too hot out front to put it out front as well. So I might have to grow it as an indoor plant. I actually need to look up to see ficus plants, what their cold hardiness is. I had a different ficus teneki before this one, and it didn't survive winter. So it makes me think they're not cold hardy. Okay, I got most of that coco coir off. I'm gonna use the same pot, and we're gonna freshen. Okay, that one's repotted. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to this other ficus, get it refreshed, and then we'll tackle this alocasia next. So for Regal Shields, she's looking a bit rough. She's been blooming nonstop since June, maybe. She's been just putting out bloom after bloom after bloom. Yeah, her leaves need a good hose off, and I'm gonna get her restaked. I meant to take her out of pond this summer and I never did, but I think I'm just gonna leave it in pond. I feel like if I go to plant her in soil, or should I just plant her in soil? No, I don't have enough mix made up. I'm just gonna leave her in pond. I'm gonna put her up here. That bird is hollering. Any corms that I see, I'm going to pluck off. Like here's one. Here's one. I have a couple. I'm not gonna go digging in here because I really don't want to stress her. Okay. This leaf we're gonna get rid of. And a couple blooms. Okay, and I brought some garden stakes. What I'm gonna do is shimmy one down in here. And I have these little clips, these acrylic ones. I'm gonna take this around the stake to kind of bring her back upright. And I'm gonna do another one. And I'm gonna do one more because she is, like, her stump is thick. I'm gonna do this one over here. Okay, this leaf is going. This one that's crooked, I'm gonna cut that one. She's got three blooms here. I try not to cut the blooms now. I just let them run their course. Good gosh. Celery, anyone? Do you want a piece of celery? Look at that. That literally looks like a piece of celery. That's so funny. Okay. Okay, she looks a lot better being more upright like that. She just needs a good hose off. And I'm gonna flush this pond too. I'll have to add some nutrient water in here. She looks a little bit better, but that's how she's gonna be. And I'll cover her up this winter out here. I'm just gonna move her a little closer to the house. So yeah, now it's time to rinse all these pots and water all these plants and kind of get the inside organized, and then we'll get the front porch organized and get finished up here. And then these corms I will grow out. They'll turn into little baby regal shields. Whew, I'm getting tired. That's what I have so far. I cleaned the entire patio off. So the two ficus are there, the oxalis, the monstera, some Hoya, and the alocasia. So I'm gonna look up cold hardiness for some specifics on some of these plants and decide from there if I need to like really take any inside or if I can just cover them on a really cold night. I guess we'll see what the temps will be this winter here. I honestly think the plants were fine all winter. It wasn't until we had that snow is what I think did most of them out, the ones that were in here last year. They're not really gonna get any light. You see how pitch black it is there? It is so dark. That's the only thing. But I can kind of keep an eye on them, and I'm gonna leave the covers. They're in the garage. I'm gonna get those down and leave them out here, and I can just quickly cover them. I mean, if the foliage does die back on some, like that's totally fine. Like the alocasia, I'm totally fine with that. It should regrow. The oxalis will regrow. And it's just the ficus that I may have to take in. And those Hoya are 3 that I don't want, and I'll probably cut those back anyway. So I cleaned that entire corner, so there's no plants over there. and I kind of rearranged a little bit here. And yeah, these will be kind of all right here. I am going to get this table brought back around, and I have some other like pots and stuff I need to put back into the garage. So I'm gonna do that really quick and then meet you back out front, and we'll get those back on the front porch. I am back out front. The sun is setting. The sun feels so good now, but I am tired. So I'm ready to get these cacti put back on the front porch. So let's go ahead and do that. The front porch looks the same. I didn't really change anything. At least it's all clean and watered, and I feel good about that. So I'll just come out here and put frost blankets over all these on a really cold night. So tomorrow night, I think the last time I checked, it's supposed to get 31, so I'll be covering everything. And I kind of huddled all these together so I can just easily cover this top layer. Before we move our vehicles in, I am just going through our frost blankets. We have so many, so I'm trying to pick out which ones I think will cover everything, and that way I can just quickly do this and not have to worry about it. I'd rather do it now than tomorrow night. So yeah, it was a long afternoon. I think I've been out here probably close to 4 hours now. I actually have 3 corms that I was gifted from Regal Shield, so I'll plant those. And again, this orchid cactus definitely got some sun damage, but I'm gonna isolate this inside, quarantine it, and it'll eventually make its way into my dining room, and I'll put it back out next spring. And I'll have to see about the ficus and stuff. I think if it's going to get extremely cold, what I might do, instead of trying to bring them inside and risk like pest contamination, I might just bring them in the garage, because I feel like they'll be protected in the garage. There is some windows on our garage, so light can come through. So I might do that actually, just bring some in here on like a super cold night and then just cover them. I feel like if it gets less than 40, I'll cover them. And then if it gets below freezing, I might just carry them into the garage. I don't feel like it's gonna dip that cold that often. It really doesn't get super cold here in Savannah. I mean, it can, but not often. So I'll have to see here, and I'm checking the weather every week anyway, so I'll be able to know if it's gonna get super cold one night. The only thing that I didn't do that, honestly, I'll probably tackle that tomorrow, is the new plants that I got, the asparagus fern and the Hoya. I'm actually going to unpot all of them and take all the soil off because they've been outside, and I'm gonna sanitize them and repot them. If I feel like doing it later tonight, I could come back on with you, but if not, then I'm gonna go ahead and end this video because my mic is dying. But thanks for hanging out with me and joining me. It was so nice to spend some time away from the computer and outside and get some fresh air. It was so therapeutic. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you again soon.